Hello everyone, I Dr. Kailasanav from NB Mehta Science College Bodi welcomes you all in the third lecture of classification of dyes based on application and their dyeing methods. Okay, now let's see here in this lecture a idea about optical brightness. What are optical brightness? How they are classified? Okay, let's see. In this slide, we will like to see what are optical brightness, a general idea about optical brightness. See, you are having experience with what? White clothes, that are white fabrics. Okay, so if we see, if you are buying a white clothes or white fabrics from market, and after a long term use, after 5-6 month use or 2-3 months use, you may got seen, you have seen that surface of white cloth or white fabric, it's got either in cream color or in yellow color. Why this is happening? That means white cloth got converted little bit, it got converted into yellowish niche, that is it got converted into what? Yellowish shade. Okay, so we have to see about what are the reason behind this. Okay, now let's see. See, a perfectly white surface reflects all the visible light. A perfectly white surface reflects all the visible light incident on it on long-term use. Okay, see, white object like textile materials, paper, etc. become yellowish because of contamination with what? Color impurities. White object like textile material or a paper on long-term use become yellowish. Okay, because of contamination with what? Color impurities. If you have seen your notebooks, okay, pages of notebooks are initially they are white, but after 1 year use, after 6 month use, they got converted into what? Somewhat yellowish shade. Okay, see, the yellow impurities absorb the blue rays, the yellow impurities absorb the blue rays from incident light, and hence the reflected light has higher proportion of yellow rays. Okay, see, the yellow impurities of that white surface absorb blue rays from what? Incident light or from sunlight, and hence the reflected light has higher portion of yellow rays. We know when the surface is having incident light falling on it, okay, then a complementary color is reflected. A complementary color is reflected. A complementary color of yellow is what? Blue. Or complementary color of blue is what? Yellow. When a surface is absorbing blue in blue light, that is blue rays from incident light, then it will reflect yellow color. Okay, hence the surface appear yellowish or cream color. Hence the surface appear what? Yellowish or cream color. This undesirable effect can be overcome by the use of following three methods. This is what? Undesirable effect, that is fibers is getting converted into yellowish shade, and this can be overcome by the use of three methods that we will see one by one. Okay, let us see in next slide. See here, in this slide we will see use of chemical bleaching agents to overcome yellowishness of the fabric. See, in this method, bleaching agents like hypochlorite, peroxide or chlorine, they are used, okay, in washing method, and bleaching take place by oxidation. At the time of washing, the bleaching agents like hypochlorite, peroxide and chlorine are used, and bleaching take place by oxidation. See, the color impurities are oxidized into colorless compound. The color impurities is oxidized into what? Colorless compound. The whiteness of the fabric is restored. Whiteness of the fabric is what? Restored. However, in this method there is a risk of fibers getting damaged. Okay, in this method there is a risk that fiber may get damaged. Also, these bleaching agents spoil color fabrics. Okay, also these bleaching agents may spoil color fabrics. Suppose if we have to wash color fabrics with such type of bleaching agents, so that bleaching agents may react with what color fabrics, and that color fabrics may also get spoil or it may also get damaged. Okay, so this is what, by the use of chemical bleaching agents to overcome the yellowishness of the fabric. This is what the first method. Now let us see second point. See, in second point, a use of ultramarine, a by using small amount of blue coloring matter like ultramarine blue, okay, or it may pronounce like ultramarine blue. This is called whitening, whitening of fabrics by bluing. Whitening of fabrics by what? Bluing. See, in this method, the blue substance absorb yellow light. Here we have to use ultramarine blue. This is what a blue substance, and that blue substance absorb yellow light and reflects black what? Blue light. It absorbs yellow light and reflects black what? Blue light. Thus the yellow and blue rays from incident light, yellow and blue rays from incident light are absorbed to almost same extent. Okay, the yellow and blue rays from incident light are absorbed to what? Same extent. Thus the balance of color required to produce white effect is restored. Okay, see, color impurity, if fabric is having color impurity, that fabric is absorbing with what? They are absorbing blue rays and they are reflecting yellow rays. Okay, and we are using here ultramarine blue, and that ultramarine blue, it will absorb yellow rays and it will emit blue rays. So there will be a what? Compensation. There will be a what? Compensation effect. Okay, this is what we have to see here. Let's see. See, in this way, it compensates the yellowishness of white fabric and make, in this way it compensates the yellowishness of white fabric and makes it appear white. Makes it appear what? White. However, in this method, amount of light reflected from the fabric is decreased due to absorption. In this method, the amount of light reflected from the fabric is decreased due to what? Absorption. Hence, brightness of the fabric is what? Reduced. Brightness of the fabric is what? Reduced. Thus, the white effect is produced by what? Subtractive process. White effect is produced by subtractive process in which the amount of light absorbed by the blue pigment is subtracted from the reflected light, and thus the fabric appears dull. Thus the fabric appears dull. That means we are not getting proper white fabric here also. See here in this slide, we have to see third ways that can overcome yellowishness of white fabric. See, in this method, we have to use what? Fluorescent brightening agents. By the use of fluorescent brightening agent. See, they are colorless compound which are called white dyes. These are what? Colorless compound, and they are also called white dyes. They strongly absorb in the ultraviolet light in the range of 3300 angstrom unit to 3800 angstrom unit and re-emit the light in the visible region between 4300 angstrom unit to 4900 angstrom unit, which is mainly the blue region of visible light. Okay, so these are white dyes. They absorb in the region of 3300 angstrom unit to 3800 angstrom unit and re-emit the light in the visible range, okay, or visible region, that is around 4300 angstrom unit to 4900 angstrom unit, which is mainly the blue region of visible light. Hence, it compensates the yellowishness of white fabrics, which is due to the absorption of blue light. Thus, it compensates what? Yellowishness of white fabrics, which is due to absorption of blue light. In this method, visible light reflected from the fabric is more. Okay, in this method, the visible light reflected from the fabric is more than the amount of visible light received by it. In this method, the visible light reflected from the fabric is more than the amount of visible light received by it. See here, in this case, the white effect is produced by an additive process. White effect is produced by an additive process in which more blue light is added to the reflected light. More blue light is added to the what? Reflected light. Hence, it appears brilliant white with slight blue tinge. Optical brightening agents have largely replaced ultramarine and other whitening agents. So these optical brightening agents that are white dyes, they have largely replaced ultramarine on other whitening agents. They are consumed in large quantity as ingredients in soap and washing powders. Okay, they are consumed in large quantity as ingredient in soap and washing powders. Now see, in this slide we will see essential properties of optical brightener. What are the properties of optical brighteners? Okay, what optical brightener should have, what they should not have, this what we have to see here. See, they should not contain any chromophoric group so that they themselves are colorless. These optical brightener should not contain any chromophoric group so that they themselves are colorless. Thus, they should not absorb in the visible range. The molecules of optical brightener should be linear and planar so that they are easily attached to the fiber. The molecule of optical brightener should be linear and planar so that they should easily attach to the fabric. They should not produce any color decomposition product. They should not produce any color decomposition product. They should be soluble in water and should be absorbed by the fabric. Okay, they should be soluble in water and should be absorbed by the fabric, that is substantive. Okay, substantivity, we know it is what? Affinity to the fabric. They should be sufficiently fast to light and detergent so as to remain effective for long time. They should be sufficiently fast to light and detergent so as to remain effective for long time. And finally, most important, they must be what? Non-toxic. So these are the what? Essential properties of optical brighteners. See here, in this slide, we will see classification of optical brightness. How optical brightness are classified? They are classified into 5 categories. First one is what? Steel beam derivative. Second one is coumarin derivative. Third one is heterocyclic and vinylene derivative. Fourth one is naphthalimide derivatives. And fifth one is pyrazolene and pyrazine derivative. So optical brighteners are classified into what? 5 categories. Now let's see one by one each category. Now let's see first category of optical brightener. First class of optical brightener, steel beam derivatives. Steel beam derivative. See, you will see this is what the general structure of steel beam. Okay, a phenyl ring bonded to what? Ethylene carbon, and again so that means there is a what? Ethylenic bridge and 2 phenyl rings are attached to it. So this is what? A trans steel beam, isn't it? So this is a general structure of steel beam derivatives. We can say over 80% of fluorescent lighting agents are used the steel beam derivatives. Okay, over 80% of fluorescent lighting agents are what? Steel beam derivatives. Water soluble steel beam derivatives are effectively used. Water soluble steel beam derivatives are effectively used for whitening of hydrophilic textile material like cotton. Okay, water soluble steel beam derivative is effectively used for whitening of hydrophilic textile material like cotton. Usually the derivatives of 4,4 diamino steel beam 2,2 disulfonic acid sodium salt are used. Okay, this compound of steel beam derivative is used as a optical brightener. See, for example, here we will see Blancophore R. Blancophore R. This is what the one of the example of steel beam derivative. It is prepared by condensing phenyl isocyanate. It is prepared by what? Condensing phenyl isocyanate with 4,4 diamino steel beam 2,2 disulfonic acid. Okay, see this is what 4,4 dash diaminostilbene 2,2 dash disulfonic acid. This is treated with what? Phenyl isocyanate. What? Okay, this disulfonic acid derivative, stilbene derivative, it is treated with what? Phenyl isocyanate derivative in presence of sodium hydroxide. In presence of sodium hydroxide, so there is formation of amide linkage. Okay, this amine linkage will get converted into what? Amide linkage, that is urea. Here we are using phenyl isocyanate, hence this amine linkage will get converted into what? Urea derivative. Here also we are getting what? Urea derivative, isn't it? So this is what Blanco 4R. Now let us see second example of stilbene derivative is Tinopol BV. Okay, Tinopol BV. See, this is what Tinopol BV. How it is prepared? See, it is prepared by condensing a disodium salt of 4,4 dash diaminostilbene 2,2 dash disulfonic acid. This is what? 4,4 dash diaminostilbene 2,2 dash disulfonic acid with cyanuric chloride. With what? Cyanuric chloride. This is what? A cyanuric chloride. So this stilbene derivative, it is treated with what? Cyanuric chloride at 0 to 5 degrees Celsius, followed by treatment with aqueous ammonia. Followed by what? Treatment with aqueous ammonia. So we will get what? Tinopol BV. This is what? Tinopol BV. It is having this CH double bond CH linkage. Okay, that is what? Stilbene linkage. PH CH CH PH. So this is what? Stilbene linkage, and it is what? A stilbene derivative. So we have seen two stilbene derivative. One is Blanco 4R and second one is what? Tinopol BV. Now let's see second class of optical brightener is coumarin derivative. Coumarin derivative. See, the derivatives of 7-amino 4-methyl coumarin are used as optical brighteners for nylon and wool. See, this is what? 7 derivative of 7-amino 4-methyl coumarin. Okay, if we number this coumarin ring like this, 1, this oxygen is 1, this carbonyl is second, carbonyl carbon is second, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So at 7 position there is what? Amino group, and that amino group is by it's substituted. Okay, it's what? Substituted. So similarly as this also a derivative of 7-amino 4-methyl coumarin. They are used as optical brighteners for nylon and wool. See, these coumarin derivative are used for whitening of polyester also. These coumarin optical brightener are also used for whitening of polyester, isn't it? So these are what? Two examples of coumarin derivative as they are used for optical brighteners. Now let's see third category of optical brightener, which is heterocyclic vinylene derivative. Heterocyclic vinylene derivative. See, these are the compounds in which two heterocyclic ring or one heterocyclic ring and one aromatic ring are linked together by means of vinylene bridge. Okay, so these are the compounds, they are having vinylene bridge or vinylene linkage. Okay, and this vinylene linkage or vinylene bridge is joined either by two heterocyclic ring. One is this heterocyclic ring and second one is this heterocyclic ring, or this vinylene bridge is joined either by one aromatic ring and second heterocyclic ring. Okay, so these are what? Vinylene derivatives, heterocyclic vinylene derivatives. They are found to be effective brightening agents for cotton and have good fastness to chlorine. They are found to be what? Effective brightening agents for cottons and have good fastness to chlorine. See, here we have shown this is what? Ethylenic bridge. Okay, this ethylenic bridge is joined by two heterocyclic ring. One is this heterocyclic ring and second one is this heterocyclic ring. Okay, so this is what? The one of the heterocyclic vinylene derivative, and second class of heterocyclic vinylene derivative it may contain one heterocyclic ring and second aromatic ring, isn't it? So this is what UV-TEX RX, isn't it? This is what the example of UV-TEX RS, and here we may say X is what? Heteroatom like sulfur, oxygen and NH, that is secondary amine. This is what? X. Now in this slide we will see fourth class of optical brightness, which is called naphthalimide derivatives. Naphthalimide derivative. See, the substituted derivative of imide of naphthalic acid, the substituted derivative of imide of naphthalic acid are used as optical brightener. Okay, they are effective brightening agents for polyester, polyamide and various other synthetic fiber and plastic material. So these are what? Effective brightening agent for polyester, polyamide and various other synthetic fiber and plastic material. They are usually incorporated during the manufacture but can also be added to the detergent. They are usually incorporated during the manufacture but can also be added to the what? Detergent. Their general formula is as follows. Okay, see, this is what? Naphthalene ring, basic naphthalene ring. Okay, so here suppose there is carboxylic acid group and here also there is a carboxylic acid group, then it is called naphthalic acid. Okay, that means alpha alpha, both the alpha position of naphthalene ring are occupying COH group, carboxylic acid group, they are called what? Naphthalic acid, and this is what? A imide derivative of naphthalic acid, and this is called naphthalimide derivative. See here, X is equal to R or AR, that is alkyl group, or AR group, aryl group, and Y is equal to what? Such type of donating group, that is alkoxy, acetamide, that is acetanilide group, NHCOCH3, NHCO NH2, urea group, and this is what? NHCO NH PH. Okay, benzenilide group. This is what? Y, and this is what? X here. So these are what? Naphthalimide derivatives. Now let us see fifth and last class of optical brighteners, which is called pyrazolene and pyrazine derivative. Pyrazolene and pyrazine derivative. See here, diaryl pyrazolene derivatives having the structure shown below. Diaryl, isn't it? This is one aryl ring and this is second aryl ring. Diaryl pyrazolene derivative having the structure shown below are effective brightening agents. Their sulfonated derivatives can be applied with detergent in the form of dispersion or in solution. Their sulfonated derivatives can be applied with detergent in the form of dispersion or in solution. Their general structure consists of two aromatic rings attached through a pyrazolene ring. Their general structure consists of what? Two aromatic ring. One is this and second one is this. They are attached through a what? Pyrazolene ring. So these are what? Pyrazolene and pyrazine derivatives. So in this lecture we have seen optical brightener. What are optical brightness? Okay, what is yellowishness of fabric, white fabric? How we can overcome that yellowishness of white fabric? By three methods: by the use of bleaching agents, by the use of ultramarine blue, and third by the use of optical brightness. Then we have seen essential properties of optical brightener, and then we have seen 5 classes of optical brightness. Okay, so I hope you have understood all this topic completely. We will stop here. Thank you very much. Thank you.